Welcome, YouTubers, Rumble members, and Facebook members. This is News with a View, hosted by me, John A. Costa, aka John Fatcat. Today is October 6th, 2025. This is episode 141. If you're just joining me and haven't seen my podcasts, it's a conservative-leaning podcast. I do look at what the left media is reporting, and then I will spin the Republican side. I'm a Republican, a conservative, a federalist, not a MAGA. I'm locked in step with no one. The only thing I am locked in step with is the Constitution, because at the end of the day, that's the big stick. All right, today we're going to be talking just about a few issues and then whatever dangerously floats into my head. Shutdown Continues, and we'll discuss some of that. Judge rules against Trump's use of troops from California to Oregon. I have some thought about that. And AOC went on some wild, I don't know if she was drinking or high or whatever, but boy, man, her Instagram Sunday was something else. And then from there, we'll talk about some of the woke judges and some of the situations that is happening across the country. With that, I did make a podcast yesterday talking about woke judges, and I just want to be clear that my problem with woke judges is get them out of office through legitimate means. Voting. Vote them out. Vote out those DAs. We don't need protests in the sense of, what is going on in Oregon and other places. Or, any violence. Not for violence. It's against the law. You want to have peaceful protests? Have peaceful protests. Get violent, and you mess with the bull, be prepared for the horns. So I'm a believer in peaceful demonstration. I'm a believer in doing your fighting politically in the voting booth. That is where it takes place. So, all right, let's go. And now the shutdown continues, and there's really no end in sight. But I will say massive layoffs and furloughs are expected this week. So be prepared, folks. Be prepared for what's going to come down. I'm just playing with some of my levels here, seeing if I can't make this a little bit deeper. And there, well, we're going to go this route. All right, so it almost sounds like I'm compressing, but I'm really not. I'm not really compressing at that point. That sounds a little bit too trebly. Though I do like this one right there. There we go. Got my little audio mixer off to my side. It's always a pain. The noise you're hearing in the background will be the air conditioning system. And I do have my fan on because even though it's cool out, it is warm in Studio B. So, we're saying the layoffs and furloughs are expected this week. Anyone that does not see that coming, if there is no movement, and there isn't any, no one is budging. The president warned that he would order the OMB to start reductions if meaningful negotiations do not take place. President Trump has maintained it is up to the Congress to vote for the budget. And the reality is the Democrats approved the big, beautiful bill. Strong-armed, marched into it, but they approved it. They fully knew what was contained in that legislation. They fully understood what the president's plans were with regard to the budget. This is nothing that should have come at any surprise to anyone. It just wasn't a surprise. We knew what the president was asking for. They knew what the president was asking for. And everything that was contained in the big, beautiful bill was there to be explained, to be put out there. And then the Democrats got buyer's regret. And I'm going to have some coffee here this morning. And this shutdown is 100% on the Democrats, as like I said, who now have buyer's regret, because of the progressives who are running the DNC and are controlling Schumer and Jeffries, with threats that they will undermine them. When they run for election, they will undermine them. With money, with supporters, they will undermine them. And, they'll get other Democrats to run in their spots that they can control. And if you don't do what I tell you to do, you're going to be out. That is what's going on with the Democrats right now. And inside all of that lays the fact that this budget extension was only going to last till November 21st. Affects nothing with healthcare, affects nothing with funding of EBT. The next round will in November and December when it gets there. I think they decided to make this fight too soon. Too soon. The effectiveness of the Democrats thinking that they're going to win anything from Trump is just not going to happen. Trump holds all the cards. And he holds the winning hand. And it's unfortunate that the Democrats put politics before people. But c'est la vie. I'm sorry, I'm battling the allergies this year have been unbelievable down here. Everyone is sick in my household with it. The only solution for the Democrats is just say, hey, out of abundance for the people, we're going to agree on this budget. But, you know, come November, we're fighting. You know, everyone be prepared. We're fighting. They're going to have to do that. Or this will last all the way. This will just go through. And Trump will start cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. Because that is what he said he will do. And the Democrats, just after all these years, they don't know how to deal with Trump. Don't know how to deal with him. And Trump has no use for the Democrats. They screwed him. They tried to put him in jail. They tried every underhanded thing that they could do. From fake dossiers reports from Hillary Clinton to Comey to Brennan to Clapper. It is Stinkville for them. And there are going to be lots of charges coming down the road against the Democrats. And is this political payback? You might call it that. But if there's a crime committed in there, what do you call it? They took Trump, lined him up with it, and they said, well, if he has nothing to, you know, if he's innocent, well, he'll be found innocent. And, you know, the courts are already set aside some of the convictions, and the New York one will definitely, down the road, be overturned, his felony convictions. And even with that, they're going to find collusion on the part of the state. They were already finding the collusion in Georgia. Going to be a big one there. So they were right. The Democrats were right about that. If Trump is innocent, you know, it'll be proved, you know. But he was guilty before they started. I mean, everything. The Democrats do not care about democracy. And they proved it over and over and over again. The fake cry of democracy. The fear of that losing democracy. The fake cry of the Democrats. Because they forego the primary. Everyone picked Democrats. Overwhelmingly, voters said Biden. The DNC said Biden was good to go. The DNC, Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff, Waters, Green, Warren. This guy is, Biden is the best guy out there. He is fit. He is ready for a second term. He's going to complete a second term. And then he falls apart at the first debate. And he's gone. Unfit. And then later on, all these people get, well, we knew it, but, you know, we didn't know how bad he was. Pelosi spoke to Biden every day. She claims that. She said that. I speak with him every day. Schiff, Schumer, they all knew. They didn't give a shit about your democracy. And it really, we don't have a democracy. This is a republic. So it works a little differently, but you want to cry democracy, go ahead, cry democracy. Fundamentally, we think we're a democracy. We are not a democracy. So, all right. 15 minutes of ranting. I like it. All right. Senator Warren posted on her X account that Trump plans on reworking and taking away Social Security for older people. And that's not really true. In 2022, the Biden administration started looking at changes in removing obsolete job set titles that they would look into. And this is for Social Security disability, not Social Security retirement or, benefits. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Social Security disability, where they were removing obsolete job functions such as nut sorters and telephone quotation clerks as, things that you would be able to do. So you can't move your right arm now. You had a stroke or something like that, but you could still sort nuts on a line, right? You could, I live in Alaska. There's no nut factory here. So the Social Security is looking to retool the disability eligibility and disability process. So what they would like to do is cap it at, I think right now the age is like 50, and they want to move that up to 60 on capping. Well, actually, they want to remove the age eligibility of the trying to eliminate the age as being any type of factor. Which, some people go, well, that's a good thing, so you're older. Well, not really. Not really. The government is looking to save, probably over the next 10 years or 20 years, $10 billion by doing this. So as you got closer to 60, well, maybe, 62, and you go, well, I'll take Social Security disability. I'm going to put in for disability. I just can't do this job anymore, blah, blah, blah. And making it tougher so that you just take early retirement. So you take early retirement, and, the government is saving money in the short term. In the long term, if you live past 74, you're ahead of the game. So, but again, if you wait till 71 or something like that, you make even more money, but that you've got to live now till 88 or something to make up that difference, or you got 11, like 7 years to catch up where you would have had your money. It's complicated, and it's very subjective to what feels good for you, taking benefits at 62 or waiting till for 65 or 67 or 71 or 72. It's a very personal choice. And each one has its benefits, each one has its drawbacks. But what Warren is screaming about is misinformation. It's misinformation. This actually, the retooling of Social Security and the disability thing started in 2022 under the Biden administration. And they're all proposals. This is nothing written in stone. Just, hey, we're throwing out some ideas. And Warren is looking at this like the Amish look at technology. If it, wherever their technology, where they decided the buggy was as far as they were going with technology. Why did you stop there? Why wasn't it, tube radios? Why wasn't it the light bulb? Why, So she wants Social Security to work the same way. That this is what it is, and it always stays that way. Well, Ms. Warren, Senator, the Honorable Senator, staying stagnant isn't the way to go. And I understand your concern over Social Security disability payments. But you really haven't even looked into why and what. You're just saying Trump is doing this. We must stop it. You must stop it. What else has she had? She ran out of Epstein. She's run out of other things where she's been proven wrong on. She says, oh, it ran perfectly good. We don't need to change it. Oh. It's costing us a fortune, and there's alternatives. So, she doesn't like innovations, and obviously she doesn't like technology. So she's wants to be stuck in a certain time zone, and that's it, and can't go further than that, like the Amish. So she's the Amish in the Senate. And that was interesting. There's not much real news going on. I mean, there is some, and I don't report on, really, other than when the Democrats use Epstein, then I'll make comments of it, but I don't jump into the Epstein fray. And I know that the Supreme Court turned down Maxwell's request to say that, Epstein's deal that he had worked out with the federal government also applied to her, which really doesn't, unless it specifically says co-defendants in there. I'm not sure if it does. I did not read it. But if it does, it does, but the Supreme Court has refused to hear it, which is their right. And usually when they refuse to hear something, it's because it really is settled law, and it doesn't even need to be brought to the courts just for them to waste their time and go, this is done already, bye. We're not going to hear it. That's it. They don't need to explain themselves. Lucy, you have a lot of explaining to do. So, next item. Judge halts Trump's use of National Guard troops to Oregon from California. Now, this is an interesting, interesting because normally the way it works is that if, let's say, Oregon called on California for troops, we need help, can you help us? States connected to one another, border one another, can ask those states through the governors for National Guard support. And this has been done before, and this is perfectly legitimate, and that's between governors and governors. The president does have control of the National Guards in every state. He has control over that. And what he had wanted to do was take the National Guard from California and have them go to Oregon to quell what Trump is saying is that it's Oregon is war torn. It's under civil unrest, and you have people trying to hurt ICE agents and stuff, and there's police can't protect them. Under those circumstances, he can act above the governors. There's a lot of 10th Amendments, there's a lot of things that go in play. So Judge Bigot, who was a Trump appointee, federal judge, made a temporary restraining order from that happening, ruling the federal government failed to prove Oregon was in a war-torn situation. So what happened was Trump then turned around and went, I'm going to send Texas National Guard troops to Oregon, which he can do. And the Texas governor said, President Trump, if you need Texan troops to go to Oregon, so be it. Now, the judge got her shorts in a little knot there, saying, what part of my order didn't you get, federal government? And the federal government turned around and said, yeah, you said California. So, all right, we're not sending troops there. We're not going to send troops from there. We're going to send them from Texas. Texas is telling us it's okay. And she goes, well, you didn't prove that it's war-torn. And the government is just going to say, that only applied to California. Didn't apply anywhere else. You don't represent Texas. And this is, again, district judges overstepping their line. Now, state police have been, or at least trying to, the Oregon said, we're not war-torn, we can protect everyone, which is not the case. we haven't seen, and the media has not been covering what's going on in Oregon. They didn't the last time either. Remember? The Summer of Love. People were murdered there, executed, because they started their own police force and just decided to shoot people. That's the Summer of Love by the Democrats. I think the Supreme Court is going to have their fill, mostly the 6 of them, and going to tell these district judges and stuff, executive power, baby. Keep your pie hole shut and do the cases that are in front of you that you represent. And that is it. Anything more, we'll see that as actions that are unlawful. And then we can act accordingly. And people are going to say, well, you're threatening the judges. Yeah, just like we threaten anyone that breaks the law. There'll be a price for that. So it has nothing to do with taking away democracy. That is just enforcing the Constitution, cupcakes. Better be prepared for it. Except in 2 instances so far that I've been wrong on which way things are going. 2 things. Out of everything that's been going on, 2 things. I think I got a pretty good record here of seeing how our courts are thinking. The robes. All right. In Chicago, the protesters are upset that state troopers are protecting ICE agents and preventing the protesters from taking actions physically against federal buildings and personnel. And this has to stop. We can't use Illinois or Chicago police to protect citizens. That's not fair. All right? The governor, Pritzker, Porky Pig, told the protesters, no, you have it all wrong. The troops are there to protect protesters from overzealous ICE agents. Can't make this stuff up. Can't make this stuff up. You Democrats are giving us so much ammunition to use in 2026 in political ad campaigns. And we'll use Oregon, we will use Chicago, running against Democrats in Florida, in Georgia, in North Carolina, all saying, yeah, I know you're saying, that happened over there, let those voters vote them out. No, because it's the hive mentality. The Democrats have the hive mentality. And as such, one bad apple does ruin the barrel. Pritzker is also dealing with a $2.5 billion shortfall in their pension funds, just to begin with. He's in a lot of trouble. Illinois is in a lot of trouble financially. And honestly, the only way out for Illinois, other than a bailout from the federal government, which I don't think is going to happen, is that he's going to have to raise taxes and fees and everything up 30 to 40% as an average, you know, maybe a 3% raise in income tax, but a 50% raise in motor vehicle fees, mortgage recording, anything to do with the state that needs the state's approval on it will now be a fee, and they'll collect money up through that way. It's the only way, is that if you're going to spend that type of money and have a pension system that is so underfunded that it drags the whole state down, you got to fix it. You got to fix it. And the only way to fix it is by taking money. And this is just not a blue state problem. This is an everywhere problem. In Texas, I don't know what, it's a firemen's union, firefighters union, where they take 13% of their salary and apply it towards their pension fund, and the state matches 13%. And every week or pay period it goes in. And and the fund, even with all that, is way down. Not because of the lack of the state putting money into it and keeping up to their bargain. It's the fact of the matter that the union members don't have the right to self-direct investments. So you have investments that said, we're going to put all our money into solar energy because it's clean and it's good for the, boom, boom, and they buy into it. And of course, solar energy, went right down the tubes. Sort of their investments. And yet 13% keeps going in there every week. And they're investing in things that the firemen say, hey, I don't want to. I want to put it in this market fund. I want to do this. I want it in a secure fund. I don't care if it's only getting 3%. I'm not losing 20. And my money is protected. This guy next door to me, my partner right here, he wants to be reckless and let you go and go, you run it, go ahead. That's fine. So a lot of these funds, pension funds, there's no provision for you to self-direct. And when you self-direct, you get forms saying, hey, it goes down the tubes. I mean, I took, $50,000 in mine and invested it, and the company went out of business. Delphi, GM company. Huge ratings. Great to go. Boom, moving money into there. Went down the tubes. Lost everything. Lucky for me, my other self-directed stuff tripled and offset that. But I could have used that money in the other investments and done even better. Them's are the breaks. So, just because you can self-direct your fund doesn't mean you'll do any better than whoever else is doing it. But that's a problem in just about every state, blue, red. There are very few states where the funds are are stable or, in the black instead of being in the red. President Biden bailed out a lot of the union funds that were historical, that they were defined pension plans, where you put money in and you're going to get this much out, guaranteed. And they have actuaries and all these numbers, and you get X amount of dollars. And those funds were going down the tubes to the point where the pension protection agencies had to come in, and you only get a fraction of what you were going to get, but you get something. And so he took the historic step to say, I'm going to bail these unions out. And he did. And I benefited from it. And taxpayers paid for that. So I didn't hate everything Biden did. There were some things that he did that he was spot on with. I don't love everything that Donald Trump does. There are some things where I said, no, you should not do that. Can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? No. So I don't go in for just, supporting the guy and, rah, rah, sis, boom, bah for our guy. It doesn't happen that way, at least not for me. As I said in this podcast, I will use common sense. It's very rare that I get where I say it's institutional, other than the Supreme Court and our constitutional rights. And you can have people say, but Johnny, the Constitution says the 14th Amendment, the birthright is guaranteed. And I go, yeah, read the intent of that. What was the intention of it? And people go, it doesn't matter what the intent is, it's the word. And I go, not so much. Not so much. And, and that's where you get into the argument with the with people about the Supreme Court, that they're written, that the tablets are written in stone and are not to be, as the words are written, so shall the deed be done. In a sense, yes. In a sense, no. But if you look to say, what does that really mean? You have to go and look at the intent of that. And the intent was not every person born here automatically got citizenship. That was talking about the slaves who were freed, and they said, well, that's great. What about their children? Oh, yeah. So, this is what we're going to do. Because people that came over, and I'm getting off the thing here, but I'm just explaining, people that had come over to immigrate here renounced their sovereignty to whatever country. Yeah, I came from Ireland. I have nothing to do with them now. I'm a spanking Yank. And you renounce your citizenship and your intent to come here to immigrate. You just didn't become a citizen. At one time you did. You just got off the boat and you were here and you want to stay. Okay, you're an American. And then later on that changed, where there was a waiting process. You had to apply and wait, and it just wasn't automatic. Put your big toe over here and you became a citizen. That went away a long time ago. So you have to renounce your citizenship. Now, always was in the past that if you brought children with you, they're here, they're part of the group, they got citizenship. They didn't have to do anything. Even though they weren't born here, they became citizens through you. The problem with slavery was that they would move families around. They broke families up. You couldn't do it. So they said, all right, you were born here, you're a citizen. But normally, when they talk about sovereignty and jurisdiction, two different things, but will come into play with the judges. Mark my words. Trump is going to win the 14th Amendment argument. I said that from the beginning. I haven't changed my stance on it. All right. AOC had a strange live Instagram feed yesterday where she called on her supporters to laugh at MAGA men. This is her message. This is what she's fighting for. She spoke for an hour on her live Instagram account focusing on Stephen Miller. She berated him for looking like he is 4 feet 10 inches tall and looks very angry all the time. AOC went on to say, I never really met the guy in person. But by looking at him, look at his true, he just looks short and angry. This is the true toxicity of the left here. This is how toxic the left is. And we should laugh at any person, any man who's 4 feet 10 inches tall and has and is insecure. How do you know if that 4 foot 10 inch guy is insecure? AOC. And I understand. I get that, Trump goes out and says some horrible things. I agree with you on that, and this is no different. But then you can't complain when Trump does it. You can't complain in one breath, oh, look what Trump is saying. Oh, that's not presidential. That's not this. We're shocked. We're outraged. And then she comes out and says the same thing. And no one goes, hold it. Did you just complain about that guy doing that? AOC's district in New York is drug ravaged, prostitution running wild, gang activity, no jobs. She chased jobs away. Amazon wanted to open up a huge center, and she goes, no, that will ruin the neighborhood. Where will the prostitutes go? What bills has she sponsored and passed through? I don't think any. And yet she is going to be going after Schumer's spot. I'll tell you, I hope she tries to run against Schumer. I'm not a fan of Schumer, but I would love to see someone then run for her seat while she's running for someone else's seat. And then she's out. She's gone. And maybe that's what Schumer's plan is. Because Schumer might just turn around, and when he lets this dust settle and he ends up making a deal with the president for the budget, and it will be Schumer who cuts the deal, and then he can focus his full attention against AOC. And AOC won't even see what's coming. And I think that he has kept quiet because that was Nancy Pelosi's world. And it's Jeffrey's world now. But I am certain when he is done and he cuts a deal with the president, Schumer, he's going to go to Jeffrey's and go, I cleaned this mess up. Now, we do a little indoor cleaning. And get me the broom, because I'm doing the sweeping. And this AOC doesn't even see it coming yet. She thinks she's beloved by everyone. Not the case, sweetheart. So she went on to say that Democrats should be making fun of the culture of insecure masculinity in men. That they should be going after these people. And she said, these people are dangerous. And we must go after them. And we can laugh at them. Publicly pointing them out and laugh at them. Again, can't make this stuff up. The Democrats are giving the Republicans so much ammunition come 2026 that there is just no way it's not going to be used to the advantage of the Republicans. And the effect will be chilling. Those that survive the election will be, hey, fellas, I'm not part of that group. You know, this is not how I like to play. We didn't want to play that way, but now these people are gone. Let's go back to the way business worked. I don't know if the Republicans win enough seats, which I think they will. They go, hey, you know, we tried to be nice with you guys, and that just didn't work out. So, you know, we'll let you hang out here, but you're not getting anything done. Unless it's what we want done. And that's the problem of having just one flavor to go to. Because you'll either eat that flavor because you like it or you have no choice to, and you'll go, oh, the minute another flavor comes along, I'm grabbing it. But in the meantime, I'm going to eat this. Or you say, I hate it. I'll never eat it. And I'll fight with anyone who says that that is good. And that's, in essence, where we are right now. And that should not be the case. And I've said this before on my podcast. I don't like any one group in power, because bad things can happen. I like the idea of someone going, excuse me, wait a second. And a good idea is a good idea, no matter where it comes from. But it has to be a common sense and practical idea. Well, I feel no one should go hungry and everyone should have $1 million. Well, yeah, okay. But, well, $1 million will buy a loaf of bread because they'll just raise the prices up so I can have more millions. So that's really not a good answer and not common sense. Now, when you say, I feel that everyone shouldn't go to sleep hungry, I'm right there with you. Now, let's see what we need to do it. But just giving people $1 million is not going to be the answer. So, it's got to be common sense. It's got to be practical. It's got to be something that is truly obtainable if both sides work together on it. And it's just not happening now. It's just not happening. The hatred against Trump is systemic at this point. It's been, almost 15 years of, hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. Trump bad, Trump orange, Trump this, baby Trump. And you vilified the guy, and you have people believing it. And, he's evil. Evil. He's going to take your democracy away from you. He's going to take everything away from you. We must stop him at any means. What do you think was going to happen? What do you think what crazy people were going to do with that? And the Democrats allowed it. They fed on it. And they thought they were going to win elections with that. Boy, how'd that work out for you? How'd that work out for you? All right. I did my hour show. As always, if you have not joined my channel, please subscribe. Know how the other people are thinking. Other than what you hear on the news, other than what we see in the news about the left and Democrats. You come here, I'll straighten you out. Leave comments. Even hateful comments, which I've gotten a bunch of. That's fine. Because you heard my words. And you could call me whatever you want to, but if you don't put anything in there to say, other than, you're wrong, dude. You're wrong. And what did I say to you that was wrong? I only have one person that does that. I don't respect him, and you know what? At the end of the day, the guy loves me. He worships me. Bob in New York. But no, honestly, if you're going to leave stuff, point towards what I said that and you could. I disagreed with everything. Really, you disagreed that calling short people, that I have a problem calling short people and laughing at them? You think that that's okay? I mean, all right. All right. But, I mean, be specific. Bob actually gives me a, 3129, you said this. And I'm like, oh, gee, let me see what I said. And I look back and I go, Bob, that was the most correct thing I said the whole night. So, but that's the way that is. Okay. Please, if you can give to a charity, give to a charity of your choice, and one that you've researched and you know is a real charity. That charity should not come out to you. You should go out to that charity. Do not become a victim helping a victim. If you're not comfortable with doing that, go to a local food bank, be it run by a church, a community, or whatever. Go to the store, buy one, get one free. Give them that free one. It costs you nothing, and it will make you feel good. And then while you're there, you need clothes. I got, what else do you need other than food? And it's just food. A couple of times a month, you buy an extra can, or you get an extra can. Or, you go, well, it's 5 for whatever. I really only need 3 of them. I'll take those other 2 and give them. It'll make you feel good, and you'll actually be helping people. And you might say, what is 4 cans going to mean? To a person that has no cans, 4 cans is huge. Think about that. All right, say a prayer. Prayer works no matter what Democrats tell you. Prayer does work. And with that, I'm going to go. I'm going to try to edit this up and get this out the door as quick as possible because it is Monday, which is Socrates Station night. Socrates Station is located in Socrates, South Carolina. Great food, great people there, good times. They are not a sponsor of my show. I have no sponsors. No one wants to even be close to me. But I do like going there. We don't talk politics. No politics. Sports, yes. Which, ironically, I know less about sports than I do about politics. All right. With that, I'm going to fade to black. Everyone, be safe. Bye.